Okay, we bring in the great Doug McIntyre, our Fox colleague and the Fox Sports Soccer Insider. Hello, my friend. Welcome back to the show. All sorts of doings. I want to start with this, what was supposed to be Messi and Ronaldo and The Last Dance, but Mr. Ronaldo has other ideas. But when we look at what Saudi Arabia is and what MLS is relative to these two players who are kind of the iconic symbols right now for these two leagues, is this really a competition between these two leagues on and off the field going forward? Or is it the way we look at it kind of over here when I saw what China did? Should I, as an American soccer fan and as an MLS supporter, be scared with what's happening over there in Saudi Arabia?
Hey guys, I'm not sure if I'd go as far as to say scared, Alexi, but I think there's no question that Saudi Arabia certainly wants to, they want to attract the best soccer players they can buy, and they can afford to buy some of the great ones. And we've already seen that happen. It's a country that, like the US, has a World Cup coming to its shores in the relatively near future. And they're gonna continue, I think, to push to become a power in the soccer space. And there's room there. I mean, after the top 5 leagues in Europe, after that, I think there is some jockeying between other leagues, and most prominently MLS and the Saudi Pro League, to sort of be that next league, that upcoming league. And certainly when you have Ronaldo in one league and you have Messi in the other, that goes a long way toward that end. So it's unfortunate that we're not going to get the 37th meeting all time between the two greatest players of their generation, two of the greatest players to ever do it. But something tells me that there might be another chance to do it somewhere down the line. There's obviously a lot of money to be made. It's pretty interesting that Al Nassr didn't announce that Ronaldo wasn't going to play. It was actually their coach in a press conference earlier today. Obviously, we're taping this on Wednesday, but didn't say much in the lead up to the game. They had canceled a couple of matches in China, but I'm sure that they sold a lot of tickets. Obviously, Messi, an attraction as well, just a little bit. So, I'm sure it'll be a great crowd. But there is a rivalry between these leagues. I think even if, it's not perfect, these games that Inter Miami is playing in Saudi Arabia this week, it is a little bit of a referendum on both leagues. Now, that's not fair. It is still preseason for MLS, for Inter Miami. And they had to do a lot of travel to get there. They're playing, again, in a stadium that all the fans are cheering against them. But on the other hand, the Saudi clubs, they have some players missing at, various international tournaments, the AFCON, Asian Cup. And it just is interesting and I think fascinating to watch these games. The first one that we saw on Monday, a really entertaining game. I mean, Al Hilal goes up 2-0. You think, yikes, this might be a blowout. And it turned into a fascinating back and forth match that, the home team won like at the death. And we got a Suarez goal, we got a Messi goal. So I think everyone went home happy. And like I said, I think the game, even without Ronaldo, on Thursday will be interesting. And I think at some point you're going to see another Messi Ronaldo showdown because there's just too much money to be made, guys, to not have that happen.
Doug, who are some of the players Saudi Arabia has signed in the last 12 months or so that you think in the MLS offices they really felt like, damn, that's a guy we would have loved to have had who previously would have come to MLS at that point in his career, and Saudi Arabia, quote unquote, stole him from us. Can you name 2 or 3 that really jump out for you?
I can't name 2 or 3, Mosse, but I can name one. The obvious one is Neymar. I mean, that's a guy that has the cachet that casual sports fans know. I'm not sure that Jordan Henderson is moving the needle in MLS, or even someone like N'Golo Kante, who's a great player, World Cup winner. But those are not the sorts of splash-making guys that are going to sell a ton of jerseys. Karim Benzema is obviously the other one. So there's 2 for sure. I mean, that's a guy that I think that, his career speaks for itself, what he accomplished at Real Madrid. A guy that MLS teams would love to have had. But I'm more interested in the players going forward and where they're going to go. I think we're a ways away. I was having a conversation about this with someone earlier. There is no next Messi on the horizon. There's no obvious superstar out there that I think that either leagues have to have. Mo Salah maybe would be one. Certainly the Saudi league, you can understand why they would want to bring him in. And then beyond that, you're looking down the road at someone like Kylian Mbappe, who the Saudis also, sounded out and were told, in no uncertain terms that he's not looking to move to a league like that at this stage of his career. Mbappe loves the U.S. He loves the culture of the U.S. It would, I know MLS would love to have him down the road, and the Saudis would too. So it is interesting, and I'm curious to see where both leagues go from here on the superstar front.
One more question before we spin it to the U.S. men's national team and some American talk here. Cristiano Ronaldo, and this quote was in your story about the two leagues, said the Saudi League is better than MLS. Well, obviously, he's representing the Saudi League, so he's going to say that. I would think Messi would probably say the same thing, maybe a little bit more diplomatically.
Yeah.
But what are some of the challenges? And again, we're over here, so we're just watching it from the outside. What are some of the challenges, and I guess the difference in challenges that a Saudi Arabia faces relative to an MLS, or some advantages that they have?
Yeah, you guys have talked about this a lot. I think that when you look at the U.S., it's still a place that many people, not just players, but people from around the world, they want to live in the U.S. They understand what the lifestyle is like, the opportunities that are available to them and their families. Messi talked about coming to Miami and how he had to prioritize his family at this stage of his life, and he felt that was the place where they were going to have the best lifestyle. But Saudi has a ton of money. I mean, unlimited money almost. And the last time I was on, we talked about, is MLS going to loosen the purse strings? And it doesn't really seem like they're willing to do that, at least in the near term. So that's going to be a challenge. But of course, when superstar players become available, somehow the money manages to materialize as it did for Messi. I mean, I don't think we would have thought a few years ago there would be any MLS player, Messi included, making the sort of money he's making. So again, it's going to be fascinating going forward to see how these two leagues jockey for superstars, because there's not that many guys out there that really move the needle, that grab the attention of the casual fans, and those sorts of players are going to be in the crosshairs of both leagues.
You like that clip? Well, my State of the Union podcast drops twice a week right here on my very own YouTube page. The only way to stay up to date is to hit that subscribe button down below. Size the day, and see you soon.